Hi folks, welcome back to the Model 3 Man channel, and hope you had a good weekend. It's Monday, it's tip of the day number 39, and we're into the 11th week of these Model 3 tips. We're going to run out of tips at some point, I know that, but in the meantime, your comments in the comment section give me new ideas all of the time. About half a year ago, I uploaded an episode that dealt with the audio hardware system in the car. It dealt with all of the speakers, 15 of them, for those who have the premium updates. It dealt with the amplifier, a whole bunch of related concepts. But I continue to have a lot of questions about the settings in the car audio. Not just the settings themselves, but how to get the best sound out of the speakers that you do have. And I realized that a lot of people are basically using their car audio in the most basic method available. They're not getting the kind of sound that they could be. So we're going to jump into the car now. We're going to take a look at the settings that control the audio in your car and what you can do, firstly, to understand them, and secondly, to configure them and to set them in such a way as to get the very best possible results from your car's audio system. So let's get into Red Dragon, and I'll take you on a tour of how you can set up and how you should set up to get the best possible results out of what is a magnificent, probably the best stock standard audio system that's available today, although of course I'm sure someone will want to dispute that. Let's take a look right away at the settings for audio, and of course you have to lift the audio tray a little higher before you can get to the settings icon, which is there. And of course there are three sections to this. We've got the tone, the sound quality, the tonal quality of your music. We've got balance, which allows you to move between the different areas of the car. And we have options, which we'll come to in a minute. We also have, down at the bottom here, volume, which you can just slide from side to side. You could, of course, hit the little arrows like that, but just as easy to do that. And do understand that one of your passengers could also control it on their phone app. So be careful who you give permission to. My daughter often hijacks some music from the back seat, and interesting things happen. So one of the problems, of course, with playing audio over the system is that if I use any commercial artists, I will get a copyright strike against me. However, if I use on my USB stick copyright-free music, which YouTube provides us, I can tap it on there, and I can get a song, and I can play it, and it won't incur a strike. So we're going to use copyright-free music today as we demonstrate the various techniques and the various procedures. Obviously, the volume is not only controlled down there, it's controlled on the left scroll button on the steering wheel. Your left thumb would roll up and down, and I'm doing that now, and you can see what's happening down there. Better still, you can look over here, and that's me rolling the scroll wheel. But of course, volume is not everything. In fact, here's an important musical principle. Good quality music is never about volume, but always about balance. And I don't mean balance left or right, left speaker to right speaker. I mean balanced tones, balanced sound. Let's just take a trip into the settings again, and we're going to have a look at tones. What you have here is a frequency curve. Well, very frequently, the frequency curve looks like that, and we will call that the smiley face. I've never seen anyone run a frequency curve that looks like that, but we have to understand what that means. The sliders on the left represent bass. The ones on the right represent treble. A setting like this would be reducing the treble to nothing and the bass to virtually nothing, and would produce a very mid-range skewed sound. Not pleasant. Harsh, unpleasant, lacking in balance. And so when we talk about balance, most people do not keep this flat, which is, of course, where it starts out until you begin fiddling with it. And here's why. When you're sitting in a car, there are all kinds of noises competing to destroy the music you're playing. Road noise, wheel noise, wind noise, passenger noise. You're always having to compensate for these extraneous sounds that undermine and destroy your music. An obvious thing would be to boost the treble or high sounds. Just kick them up so that The music has a crispness. The tweeters in your car are putting out a higher volume of the higher frequency. That gives better definition and better clarity. But high sounds with no bass are awful. Just consider your phone. If you're trying to listen to a high-quality piece of music on your phone through the phone speakers, it's dreadful. That would be something like that. Now think about that car that passes you at the stoplights, and all you're hearing as they drive by is that thumping, loud, annoying bass with no other frequencies audible to you. So how do we set a balanced frequency curve? And for me, it probably goes something like that. In other words, we're kicking up the bass. We're kicking up the close to bass sounds. Maybe a little bit more, maybe that a little bit more. We're kicking up the treble because those are areas that suffer when external noise attacks the purity of our musical sound. I have told Elon, he doesn't seem to listen to me. I don't know why. Elon, can you not allow us to save our choice of frequencies? And where we've got tone, how about preset 1, preset 2, preset 3? Let us save different curves the way we want them. And while you're at it, Elon, why only a 5 frequency equalizer? Why not 10 or 12 for those of us that really do like to fine-tune the sound of the music within our car, within the environment we use it? Enough of my gripes. That's tone. Balance. My daughter's talking on the phone in the back seat over here. I'm not going to put the music in the back seat and annoy her. I'll probably go up to the left-hand corner, especially if I'm listening to a podcast. And that way, I can hear it in the front speaker down there, and she, back there, is still able to carry on her conversation. People will fiddle around. They'll try and get it exactly back to the middle. No need. Tap on the middle, and it will return to home base. If I want to keep both left and right going, which I do because that's stereo, I could slide up the vertical axis. It's now positioned to the front of the car, but I'm still getting the left and right stereo sound. Let me tap in the middle again. So you can play with your balance. But honestly, if you're driving and you're the only occupant and you want to listen to your music, it's typically going to be either here or a little bit across to there. Here's why. You're sitting in the left side. You're hearing the left speakers very loudly. You're not hearing these speakers quite as loudly. Push it a little bit across and you're going to pick up the right-hand side a lot better. The left-hand side is already pretty loud. Let's return. Options. Listen, I do not care about DJ commentary. I don't listen to songs with explicit content. There's how you can stop your daughter from hijacking your music. Turn off mobile control. Anyway, I don't. I love them all. But this is everything. Now, I'm going to play some music, and let's just go out of here and back into Flames. I'll just turn it down for a moment or two. I'm fully aware that you cannot hear the true sound through one little microphone, but I can promise you that there is a ton of bass at the bottom end there. There's a huge amount of bass and a small amount of treble. But what I'm going to do here is go back to the settings now. So we're playing. And I'm turning immersive sound off. And here's what it does. It throws the sound to the front speakers. All of these speakers, the ones out on the dashboard, the ones in the door, the ones up on the A-pillar, all of those speakers, it pushes the sound there. So it's like having speakers in front of you playing at you. Standard and high represent different extremes of the same concept. The sound is electronically separated and distributed to all of the speakers in the car. And when we talk about immersive sound, what we're really saying is sound that feels like it's coming from all around us. Like that. Now the sound is flat and comes from the front of the car. Standard is kind of halfway between. It's a little bit of immersion, it's a little bit of the front, but high is where I enjoy my music most. Now, look, some purists will tell you, oh, it shouldn't be separating the guy's voice to here or the electric guitar out to that speaker. It does not make much difference unless you are the most pure of purists. Your experience, when you hear the music coming from all around you, is the feeling of being in a concert, the feeling of being in a room with speakers in front and back. You don't get critical about how much level of the voice you're getting or how much you're getting from the guitar. You enjoy the surround sound that you're getting. It's tremendous. Do I have it on there ever? There's a happy little tune. It's just coming from the front, folks. And that feels like the piano is right in front of you and the sound is on the side of you. It's a much nicer sound. But look, it's a free country. Pick whichever one you want, but I'm telling you that's the best. Nothing like being opinionated, eh? But let's give this a try on that one that I said has such a lot of bass. So we'll go back to Flames. I'm going to increase the bass. Pull down the treble. All I can hear in the car is just solid bass. Now I'm going to switch it around. Pull that off. I think even from there you can hear that it's much shriller, much sharper. Let me turn it up. How about this? I pull both of these down, just leave the mid-range up. Now that's awful. Let's go back to the smiley face. Bring it up to there, bring that up to there, keep that down there, go up a little bit more. And for me, that's a good tonal balance. Music is not about volume. Music is about balance. Balancing the frequencies that make up the full picture of the music that you're listening to. This kind of balance is just stereo balance, left, right, back, front, and then the options are how to surround yourself with the music. One final thing here. It's also true that when we have a different volume level, or softer. Typically, when your volume is softer, you need to amplify the bass and the treble frequencies more because those disappear. When your music is louder, you don't need to do so much of the amplification. The bass is going to come through anyway, and you can leave it down at a more moderate setting. And that, Elon, is why I would love you to give us some presets. We can save each of the different preset combinations for the different volume levels at which we play our audio. So I hope that clarifies a lot of the confusion that surround the settings and gives you a little bit of a starting point as to where and how to use them. So that's it for here. Let me go back into the studio and just wrap up. That's it for that tip, but I do want to tell you about an upcoming project that is scaring me a little, to be honest. I was offered the opportunity a month or so back to review an electronic tailgate for Model 3. Now, what that means is replacing everything, motorized struts or lifts, a whole lot of wiring and cables and connectors, running things through all kinds of channels and orifices. And I first thought, this is going to be impossible. This is for a car mechanic or an electrician or somebody with vast skills that is not me. And then I thought, listen, how do we get to do and to learn everything? We go on YouTube. We take a look. Well, there are no installation guides that are less than half an hour, and most of them go between 30 minutes and an hour and a half. And I watch them. I think I have a fairly good idea of how to do this install. What I'd like to do is to try that this week and film the results and upload it. So you can see whether in fact electronic tailgate is worth it, whether it's way beyond our ability to do it for ourselves, but it's a pretty cool idea. That you can come to your car, the tailgate will lift completely, and when you're ready, push the button, it closes by itself. It's what I always wished my car had, so I'm going to try the install. We'll see how that goes, and look forward to seeing it sometime later this week. Once again, thank you very much for the wonderful way you have supported the channel. And please, if you've enjoyed this episode, and if you've enjoyed any of the others, please subscribe and at least hit the notify button so you get to know when new episodes are going up. Thank you to those who've been using my referral code when they purchase a new Tesla. If you are buying a new Tesla, use somebody's referral code. 1,000 miles or 1,500K free supercharging is something that's definitely worth having. So in the meantime, look after yourself, and I'll see you tomorrow for yet another tip of the day, number 40 coming up. We'll see you then.